Mal, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead, because you're going to do it anyhow.
I didn't know you were written a book.
Written a book?
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord. Is this how we're going to get involved in this now?
Stuck up 100 objects inserted and ingested in places they shouldn't be. Malcolm. Coat hangers, beer bottles, flashlights, eggs, bananas.
Oh, it was my book. Where do you get this from?
Look, there's like an x-ray of somebody having a hard time.
Where?
You want to know how I got that book?
Yeah. Was that Manny?
I was in Ireland with Lemming, and I think there was a commercial for it on TV, because in Europe they don't have like very many rules or boundaries when it comes to commercial television.
No.
And they advertised that book, and he ordered it on the spot. I don't think he told me, and it just showed up here. So, Try Before We Die. It's a regular episode tonight. I'm Colin.
I'm Malcolm.
And we're here to sort of...
He really just ordered it out the blue.
It just showed up here. And we're here to cycle through the hundreds of bottles of whiskey in this bar, the Bitter End, here in scenic southwestern New Hampshire, and try these bottles before one of us dies. Because... Now, we're not going to try like the stuck-up version of this bottle.
No.
We're actually going to uncork this bottle versus corking
Correct.
with the bottle.
Was that in the book?
I don't know. I only got to the first chapter, and then I had to stop. I had to go to the hospital.
He's a bounder, that Lemming.
Yeah,
he's trouble.
He's clever, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's like, oh, he was just on his phone. I thought he would, and then the book's here.
So yes.
Try Before We Die.
Establishment.
Yep.
We are going to drink scotch. It's probably the funnest thing I get to do. Because if you actually got to see the behind the scenes of this show, you were like, good Lord, these guys take it way too seriously.
Yeah. It's like places, everybody.
But on that note, let's just talk about this for just a second. We've now moved to YouTube.
Yes. We've cycled into a new hosting platform. We're still doing the Facebook thing, but we're really trying to expand for folks who are searching and looking for whiskey reviews and understanding about what whiskeys taste like and what they should experience.
All right.
Yep.
And I think this is going to be a good season for this.
Yep.
We've got some people coming in. We've got people here. We've had people.
The crew has grown.
The crew has grown.
Yeah.
Babysitter's now on board.
That's right. We'll give him a shout out at some point on set. Hopefully we can get him into a guest chair. But speaking of guest chairs, we have our friend Otter from Chicago back again for another episode.
Not to be confused with the Sausage King.
Right. Otter Froman.
Otter Froman.
Abe Otter.
Sausage King of Chicago.
Yeah. Now, are you like in that? Are you in the Ferris Bueller part of Chicago? Is that a real nice car?
I was there. My buddy came in October, and we did go see Cameron's Garage.
Okay.
No Ferrari though, but
are you telling the truth?
Yes, I am the general vicinity of pretty much every John Hughes movie ever made. Is right where I am.
Yeah, we're based in Chicago.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, welcome back to the show, Otter. We're happy to have you here.
Glad to be back.
Yeah. And in seat 4, we have our paintball teammate as well as crew member, our first crew member, really.
Yep.
Right?
The elusive
G-Man, or as he likes to slur through as G-Man.
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 You know, we gave G-Man his name after and I forget who the artist is, but it was part of the weird Al Yankovic things and Ed Gruberman. And it's, transitioned to be G-Man. But it turns out, Ed, G-Man.
Yeah.
Your dad was a G-Man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
That's correct.
He was.
And I believe things work out. Like FBI, what was he?
FBI special agent.
Yeah, he was a G-Man.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. It's funny how things work out. Otter, was your dad an otter?
No.
Platypus?
No. Close.
Okay. You gotta be nicer to people. I don't know why you put people on the spot like that.
I don't know either. You know, it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you have a couple of drinks before you start filming.
So, Otter. I just love the genuine sincerity of this show. I hope you all love this too. Otter, you came out from Chicago to sort of see some old friends for the first time, and we haven't sorted out the years, but I'm feeling like more than 10 years. And so my question really to you is if I was to bring something out from behind this bar, would you want it to be recent or past?
Past.
Okay.
Past.
So, Otter.
Oh, no.
We have a paintball pass together, and I believe for pub crawling, one of our first outside acknowledgments from another team or a producer or anything actually came from your old paintball team, Dirty Old Tired Women. Or as they liked to call themselves,
divine something, righteousness, nerdy something.
Disciples of the Watch.
Oh,
and you guys gave us this.
We did.
This is the
really?
the DOTW Captain's Award. So y'all's team put together this plaque for us. Thank you, Pub Crawling, the Twin Towers MXS game. So Twin Towers would have been the second in the series of the Lord of the Rings games, which I believe began in 2002. So this would go back to, this is the 2003 MXS game at
EMR Paintball.
I'd rather be playing paintball at EMR. And so this, you guys gave us this in 2003. So Mal, we'd love to do the math with you. So in 2003 to 2022, how many years ago did we get this plaque from Otter and his pals?
19, 18, 17.
Final answer?
I'm going to go with 19.
Okay. So that's good. So he got it right and he second guessed himself. So 19 years ago, we got this from y'all. Now, do you remember anything, and we'll be quick about this, Otter, but anything stand out to you about the Twin Towers game that you would say, oh, I remember that because?
I loved how he turned the punches into the two towers at either end, and it just became the hub for the entire game to go between the two.
And the punches are...
I didn't quite know what he meant when he said punches. So
the punches were part of the field. And
actually,
the
Hawaiian punches.
Yep.
Okay, so I was thinking like punches on the player ID card, or what we later knew as Stilt Village.
Correct.
Yes. Right. So the two towers became sort of the de facto headquarters, of each side of and we just played that one long. So we skipped the dog leg and just played through that high bermed Stilt Village, high grade, but because an original EMR paintball team was the Hawaiian Punches, and they helped build that field.
Correct.
Yes. All right. So, Otter, we've kept good care of it.
I'm glad to see that.
Yeah. So thanks again for being a friend of Pub Crawling. Thanks for being a friend of us, and thanks for being really in 2003 the first outside supporter of Pub Crawling in a recognizable sense with a plaque for us. It's like our first real award.
Yeah. So special.
I can see our first award from a producer from here, and that actually came out in 2006. So you guys were way ahead of the curve, recognizing how awesome we were.
We always knew you guys were awesome, so yeah.
All right. Enough talk. Let's hit some buttons and get some drinking done before we get too sappy and start crying.
We're going to hit the button, and I'm just going to say, G-Man, were you there for that game?
Yeah.
Back in those days? Because we met you at EMR too.
Yeah, but that was, 99, maybe 2000?
Yeah, that was a few years earlier, right?
A little earlier, but I remember those were the games that kind of, we all, that had been doing this for a couple of years, that was, something's changing at this field. Yep. This is fun.
Yep.
And it did turn out to be a lot of fun.
At some point, we'll have to have a paradigm shift conversation. But why don't we have a paradigm shift here and find out what we're going to drink tonight?
Right on.
Here we go. Otter, as our special guest, tell me when to stop again.
Come on, Otter.
Stop.
Ooh, well played, Otter. Well played.
Bottle 31. So we're going to get ready with bottle 31, and we'll see everybody as soon as we get back to the bar. Bottle 31. We're back at the bar. Now, those of you who've paid attention over the years, or even from last week, know that we start behind us in the count. And, Mal, what is it, 11 across?
I thought it was 15.
It is 15. We really did some bad math, and by we, I mean you.
No. You do the counting. I do the drinking.
We do have some evidence of you having a hard time with math.
Oh, math? That's why I don't count.
You want to count today?
No.
Okay. So 15,
but all I know where we're going.
middle row.
Yeah.
So 15 across, so we're going to rule out the first 2 rows.
It's right behind me.
And it is right behind you. So what I'm very interested in this bottle has been here for a long time. This goes back to one of the first shipments I ever had from Europe to this house. This goes back to the post office lady here in New Hampshire going, "What's in that box?" And I told the truth, and she said, "Yeah, you're not supposed to do that." And then she gave me the box. So this is bottle 31. There are no gaps, right?
No gaps.
So this is a sun-faded label of a Lonach Single Malt Scotch Whisky. It is so hard to read this now because it is really faded. So there are only 170 bottles of this release. It's an 11-year-old, and I have to do that terrible thing. I'm going to grab my phone and illuminate the label. Can you even see that there's words on here?
Yeah.
What word?
What do you want to do? Aged? 11? Oh, yeah, make it bright. Yeah, here we go.
A limited edition of only 170 bottles, selected and bottled by Single Malts Direct in Scotland. This is a special bottle to commemorate the 170th gathering of the Lonachs, which I would suggest is some sort of a marching military situation.
Yeah, it does look like that.
Right. So what we don't have in this is the distillery. So this is one of these ones that somebody got and released for their commemorative anniversary of something. I've seen a few of these bottles. You can see the UK stamp on the back. This has been shipped in from Europe. So I've seen a few of these since, but there were only 170 of these released. We have no idea of the region, the distillery. All we know is that this was put together, not unlike Mal, that...
Gordon MacPhail's, right?
Well, Gordon and MacPhail, so this is August 27th, 2011. We know nothing else. So Gordon and MacPhail's will often tell you the distillery. Or, they'll tell you the distillery. So, but there will be these times where some companies will buy from a distillery, and as part of a reduced purchase price, they promise not to acknowledge where the whiskey came from. So we're really flying blind with this whiskey. Mal looks to be doing some quick research, something we generally don't do.
No, but this is really interesting because it really isn't.
So the Lonach, Lonach. It's a single malt. We don't know much else about it. So while he's getting that ready, Otter, again, where would you go with color on this?
I mean, that's a super light amber. That's just, it's almost clear. I mean, there's still a tint to it, but it's a lot.
I'm going to channel one of our former guests here. Would you go with a Chardonnay?
It almost looks like a wine.
It is very light. G-Man, any thoughts on...
I was going to say there was a moment where I was transfigured through the Ghost of Suits, and I had Chardonnay all over my brain.
So I'll say this. Last time that we were in Scotland was 2010. This was released in 2011. I am confident that I purchased this in 2011. We were in Scotland in the fall of 10. I'm confident upon return, this is one of the bottles I ordered. So this has been here since 2011. So this is 11 years. Collecting dust, label fading. Have you got anything?
Okay, so the only thing I could really pull up, right? Various distilleries have used that name Lonach. And the Lonach name comes from a military pageant or company that isn't actually associated with the British Army. They're their own representation.
Friendly mercenaries?
I wouldn't even say friendly. It's part of Scotland's heritage. And that's about as much as I can give you quickly without really reading. But there is no,
Well, we see pageantry, we see military, we see flags and banners.
And they have a Highland Games, the Lonach Highland Games and stuff like that. And it says from Aberdeenshire.
It's the 170th anniversary or gathering of the Lonachs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think we're getting a thumbs up all around. I've started the poll, so here we go. Roger. You see?
Yeah. What was that, February 2020, 22?
See if we can get another. I'm going to become a Lonach.
Look at you.
Yeah. We'll do that later because I want to drink some whiskey. So 11 years it's been here. I hope we don't have a cork failure. This would be a bottle to fail.
Yes.
So Otter, when you open a bottle of whiskey that's been around for a while, you always want to twist before you pull to sort of break free of any like sticky. Oh, it feels tense.
Oh, no, there you go.
So either it broke free,
or you got it,
or
free.
it broke off. Sort of like how we used to treat paintball teams. We'd break it off.
You got it.
Oh, it's lively or bassy?
I'm gonna go bassy. Yeah. I know my bottle.
You can see right there a little bit of the cork residue. This cork has been in there for 11 years.
You do have a point there.
Yep. Okay.
You make sure you bake
The
that.
Lonach.
You pour the first one. There you go. No. I don't want to empty that bottle for you. Especially on something I don't even know what it is.
See if it slides back in with any crispiness. No. It had resistance on the way in. Again, from Europe, shipped to the States. Otter? Malcolm G-Man?
Yeah.
Very faint coloration.
Again, sheeting legs. I'm gonna put that. I'm gonna start using that now.
Very sheeting. Very light.
Definitely looks like a Chardonnay.
Very winey in appearance.
Sweet smelling.
Faint, but faint.
Faint floral.
Right, it's not very aromatic in terms of pungent. It's not robust. It's very light and faint.
It's subtle.
Well, I've been curious about this whiskey for a long time.
About 11 years.
Let's see what it tastes like. It has more happening than its faintness relays.
Absolutely.
It has side of the mouth, center of the throat burn, but not painful. It's not characteristic of for me of any fruitiness or any nuttiness. It's almost like a faint medicinal quality.
Yeah, almost like a tangy aftertaste at the very back.
You could do this. Yeah, tangy. That's an interesting thought. Otter, anything jumping out for you?
It's sneaky. It doesn't. The smell is very subdued, but once it hits, you don't expect it.
It is one of the things we've learned about aroma and taste can be very divergent. Gaman.
Pardon me. I echo what Otter said. It's deceptively sneaky. The aroma and the experience, they're not even talking to each other, really.
All right. So, okay. Agreed.
Right?
Cognitive dissonance.
Right.
So let's now, truly we don't know, are we guessing a lowland, a highland, a Speyside, an Islay, an island, or a Campbellton?
Not destructive enough to be a Campbellton or Islay.
I will agree in ruling out.
If I had to hedge a bet, I would say
I'm down to two.
I'd say a Western Highland.
So you're going with a Highland.
Yes.
So if I was going to guess, I would land myself in a lowland or a Speyside. But what I want to do is really rule out the lowland because of the faint burn around and the tangy and the finish in the throat. So The Speyside is interesting because, as we've talked privately and may come out in some of our WTF episodes, Highland and Speyside sort of have this merging region. And so, which part of Highland?
I'm going to do the Western.
Western Highland, which would be the region of the Highlands closest to America. So, correct. Oban is a Western Highland. Now, Otter, I know you're a vodka man, and so you probably aren't going to get into this regional game with us, right? As a neophyte, as somebody sort of getting introduced to the world of Scotch whiskey, is this something that you would suggest to somebody as, hey, you should try this kind of a whiskey?
It hits hard at the end a little bit. It might be a good whiskey to try maybe second or third. It's not right off the bat.
I agree with you. This is not what I would immediately pull for somebody to sort of entice them in. Not a criticism. G-Man, you've been around the whiskey game long enough. Where are you landing in a region?
I want to echo your thoughts on the lowland and the Speyside.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to find a blend because I can see characteristics of both in it. But nothing that lends, it's got the sweets and the bright floralies of a Speyside. Yeah. Or it's a subdued, like a good lowland. No, it's hard for me to nail down where I'm like. If I had to guess, I'd probably say like an Eastern Lowland or Eastern Highland-ish. It's tough.
So Eastern Highland would bring us to Old Pulteney, and an Eastern Speyside would bring us to the coast, right? Okay.
Eastern Lowland into the Speyside
okay.
region.
So an Eastern Lowland. So you know what we'd be near? I think we'd be near Glenkinchie. I get to be wrong, everybody. I usually am. We're gonna have to do more research and find out. Mal, you feel like you got a little glint in your eye, like you know something we don't know.
No, this has the trademarks. Well, I'm going to say this. I don't feel it has the trademarks of a Speyside in the sense that I think because of that backside, mm-hmm. because of that beefiness that you get from the very end of the drink, that Otter's posted on and freaking said, okay, yeah, this, but look a little bit more to it. I think based on that, it's not in that Speyside reason. It's just not. It's got to go a little bit outside. So maybe lowland. But I'm going to stick it in the Highland somewhere.
So in the YouTube comment section at some point, we'll do some research if you don't beat us to it, and we will post up what we learned about this in some post-production research. In the meantime, the Lonach 11-year-old, only 170 bottles to represent the 170th anniversary or gathering of the Lonachs, a military pageantry sort of independent organization in the UK, Scotland. Been waiting a long time to try this. I'm glad it came up. Tonight we're going to travel to the Philippines to say goodbye. And in the Philippines, their traditional cheers, and I'm sure there are more than one, just like in any culture or dialect, but the one that we've come across is Mabuhay. Now, we didn't do an accoutrement. No. But based on that, I'm gonna have a piece of chocolate.
I wanted to ask for the pipette of water.
Oh.
What's the ABV on the bottle?
Oh, the pipette of water.
Is this almost a cask strength?
No, I feel like this is going to be a
40,
a release. 46.
Okay, so there's a little bit more.
Yeah, that's some of that burn.
Is it normal to have Scotch such as this be unidentifiable? That you don't know where it exactly came from, or is this a normal thing, or?
Yeah. So there's a whole element of the whiskey sales world that is about not telling people what it is, and there are whiskey clubs that will just give you hints and clubs. So because there's some value in identifying the distillery, so sometimes price points can be lowered if you're unwilling to identify the distillery and allow a different marketing scheme.